Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us for our Element 8 quarterly webinar, our Building What's Next webinar. Coming to you from a fairly wet and miserable Johannesburg this Friday morning. I hope wherever you are that the weather is a little bit more pleasant this weekend. We will do our typical product update this morning, run through a couple of product highlights that you may have missed over the last few weeks. I can't believe it's already March. It's crazy, it's scary.
The way the year's been going, it feels like it should be July already.
No. And then obviously, typically what we do in these webinars, we go through a success story, a case study, really an opportunity to see some good work that people have done, applications that they've implemented. And this morning we will talk with the gents from Standardised, who we'll introduce in a moment, as well as Jacques from Concera. Jacques, you've been with us before.
Yes.
Feels like you're a regular. And we will discover how you guys have built essentially more than that, but essentially a unified production batch and quality control application for Standardised using Ignition that delivers control, visibility, and traceability. So that's a pretty cool application. We're looking forward to reading or hearing more about that. If it's a first time joining us, who we are is Element 8. We are the sole sub-Saharan Africa distributor for the Ignition Industrial Automation platform, Septosoft MES, and the Canary Data Historian. While we exist as a business, we want to help ensure a data-driven and flourishing future for industry. We're really passionate about manufacturing, the South African economy. We believe that manufacturing has a massive part to play in our economy and the growth of our country. Our guiding principles are to humbly serve our community and our industry, learn from others, and share what we've learned. And what we provide, of course, is intuitive and scalable industrial technologies that break down the barriers of cost and complexity. That's a mouthful. Right? That's a mouthful. So that's who Element 8 is. My name is Yaku. I look after the team at Element 8. I have Luan. Luan is on the production side. So he's responsible for putting together all the webinars and the videos and all the cool things that you see on YouTube and LinkedIn. And then on my left, I have Gary Lowenstein, sales engineer with Element 8, our resident grey wizard. And then across from me, Jacques, you've been with us before, director and engineer at Concera. Thank you again for taking the time to come in to talk to us today and showcase some of the amazing work that you guys have done. And then Francois, René, I'm going to ask you to introduce yourselves if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm Francois René. I'm the financial manager at Standardised. I'm responsible for finance, admin, systems, procurement, and logistics. So that's quite also a mouthful, but we're a small team.
Only. So what do you do every day?
I just don't do production. That's why René is this. Yeah, so that's why some systems like this is right up our alley, my alley. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you.
I'm René van Wyk also. I joined Standardised only in 2022. And to be honest, it's a very small team. I come from factories that had 200, 300 people, and this is 12 or 13 or 15 wow. in a plant. And yeah, it's been quite an interesting thing.
But the production wouldn't say that you're only a handful of people.
No. No, we are actually doing quite well.
Yeah.
And to tell you, if it wasn't from Francois, we wouldn't be here. The finance people usually, I've got a little bit of a finance background, and money is always tight, But, luckily he's got systems as well. He likes systems, so that's where the money comes from. So
fantastic. Technology can
100%. Yeah, 100%.
Fantastic. Lovely. We're going to chat to you in a moment, but welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Couple of product highlights you may have missed over the last little while. Hot off the press, Ignition 834 was released last night. Yesterday. It was
yesterday, their time, last night, so the early hours of the morning.
US time and South African time.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Dollar pricing and rand pricing.
Yeah, something like that.
So 834, as always, there's a fairly extensive list of things that have been added that's new. Probably the highlights is the core historian, or rather the embedded Quest DB. There's some improvements to that. There's tag level wildcards to event streams. And there's also diagnostic tags for DMP3 driver connections. So those are three of the highlights, but there's a whole list of other additions.
I've quickly scanned through the release notes this morning, and there's a list of enhancements, improvements. There's a couple of bug fixes.
Fantastic.
It's worthwhile downloading and getting it up and running.
So that's it. Version 4 of 8.3 is already available.
Yeah.
It's moving quickly. It's adding a lot. There's a couple of really, really nice Ignition Exchange resources that have been added. If you're not familiar with the Ignition Exchange, it is an online repository of phenomenal tools, resources, applications that people have built for Ignition. That's available for free. You're welcome to download any of these resources, applications, use it without restriction. These are 3 highlights for us because it's 3 South African resources that have been added. It's always nice to see South African companies and South African engineers adding useful tools. The most recent one at the top right is our tag history migration tool from Liam Hendricks down in the Western Cape from the Integ team, which provides a very simple UI-driven tool to migrate your Ignition tag history from a PostgreSQL-based historian to any destination history provider on your gateway. So that could be a core historian, another SQL historian, the history tag splitter. So that's a really, really, really nice utility. Then we have the power chart, tag context and stacking pins. So that is, I don't know who was that? Oh, that was John. So that was a resource that Jark and the team from Concera added that allows you to automatically add pin descriptions and engineering units when a tag is added to the power chart. Something really simple, but really, really powerful and useful. And they can easily be modified as well to use either the metadata available from the tag, or you can separate the tags that stores the description and the engineering units. So that's
And it allows you to use factory charts, which is really nice.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you'd sometimes add a couple of pins and then you don't know which one you're looking at. I like the stacking capabilities.
Cool. And then the third one we wanted to highlight that's fairly recent as well is from our own Marcus Oosthuizen from our team, the Ethernet IP scanner for factory talk. Again, a simple utility, but incredibly useful and powerful. So that there's an Ignition perspective resource that transforms your session into an intelligent map of any control logic's chassis and its downstream Ethernet IP devices, all exposed inside of your Ignition perspective and Ignition project. So that's a really cool, useful utility. We will share afterwards, as we always do, the links to all of these resources. So you don't have to go Google for them right now. We'll send you the actual download links to all of these. And if you have any questions, please let us know. These sessions always feels like monologues unless we get some questions. And if you've joined us before, you know that the first question always gets a golf shirt or a gift, a pair of socks, a donut, something.
We're going to send a donut to the post.
So if you have any questions, please let us know. Luan is monitoring the chat for us, and we'll make sure that we answer each question before the end of the session. Next up is the Canary module for Ignition. It is now supported, or there is now support for Ignition 8.3, and that module now provides full compatibility with Ignition 8.3. And you configure the module to both collect and provide data back to Ignition. And then the other performance addition that was added is that it now leverages Canary's API, native API, for the collector and the provider, which increases the performance quite a bit.
Yeah. It's simpler to configure because there's one thing to configure now, not two in the old version.
Yes. Yeah.
And of course, Canary 25.6 is out.
That's right.
Which is really, really got some fantastic new things in there, especially with the calculations and events. You can do golden batches and those kinds of things. It's really cool.
Okay, fantastic. MQTT University. What does MQTT stand for?
So you get a dance.
You'll get a donut. There's about 8 donuts out there. So message queue telemetry transfer. It is a protocol that if you haven't heard of MQTT and its variant or payload called Sparkplug B, an amazing new technology that is really, we can see an increase in popularity in terms of its use, not only for disparate systems, where you have multiple sites communicating data back to a broker, but even smaller architectures. It provides a lot of value and a lot of benefits to using MQTT, like store forward, as an example. The fact that it's a very light payload using
secure.
And
It's a single port you open, it's secure.
Yeah,
It's lightweight, it's easy to configure, and you can apply your own security posture around MQTT.
yeah, absolutely. So if you're not familiar with MQTT, the co-founder of MQTT, Arlen Nipper, his company, Cirrus Link, amazing people, great tools. They have created the MQTT University, which is an amazing free resource collection that will help you learn all the basics of MQTT, Sparkplug, and the unified namespace. It also includes deep dives into the latest white papers. And what I really like about it is it's a practical lessons essentially on how to implement MQTT step by step. So it's called MQTT University. It's on the Cirrus Link website. We'll share a link to that as well. And very similar to Canary Academy and Inductive University, it's free. You simply need to register and work your way through the videos and all the content. But really, really nice learning around MQTT. You use MQTT. You've deployed MQTT at a couple of sites. Yeah, cool. All right, so that's a very quick update on some of the product and resource things you may have missed over the last couple of weeks. But the reason we're here today, and these gentlemen are sitting across from us, we want to hear your story and what you've developed, is Sundays and the application that started in 2023. Didn't
You were a youngster then.
Yeah, I had hair in 2022. So it's a project that's evolved and it's developed over time. But maybe we can kick it off with front row and you guys maybe telling us a little bit more about Sundays. Maybe that's a good departure point to learn more about your business.
Sundays is an international chemical manufacturer company. We make PVC stabilizers. That's a fancy word for chemicals that the PVC market use to stabilize chemical reactions when they make PVC pipes, fittings, conduits, stuff like that. We've got a small plant, like Renier alluded to previously, only about 12 permanent staff in the factory that works on night shift and day shifts. But it's a very complex and technical process. You really rely on your operators to know what they're doing. Luckily, our operators have been with us for a while, so they know how to cook the pot, if we can call it that.
As long as you don't cook the books. They can cook
we are small, but in South Africa perspective, we probably provide 70 to 80% of the market with the raw materials they need to make PVC water pipes, fittings,
fantastic,
conduits, those sort of things. So in our market, we're big.
Okay.
We had a need to maybe optimize it and get through from some manual processes. I think we had some safety risks as well, and Renier will probably talk about that. That's where this all began. We had a bit of an incident. We thought maybe we can get some measures in place to assist with safety, and then that quickly snowballed from just, wow, more than safety, what else can we do? Starting to talk to Jock and his team and really realizing what's out there. Because you don't know what you don't know until you start talking to experts in the field.
Absolutely.
In systems.
Yeah.
And I think that's sort of where this whole thing started.
Yeah.
Renier?
Yeah. Just to also add on from what Francois says is we all know PVC. It's pipes and fittings and swimming pool pipes and sewer pipe or whatever. So you flush your toilet, that stuff goes through a pipe. Now I've been in that industry for all my life. And you cannot make a pipe without Sundays or this product or the little bit of material that we put into that to
stabilize it.
stabilizer because it stabilizes the whole system. So I started in 2022 in September, and we had the accident in November.
So it was a safety incident.
Yeah, that was a safety incident. So the main thing is the reactors. It's really extremely hot. Waxes. That's what we're talking about. It's a wax. You might imagine putting a candle on your arm. It burns. Okay, so. And we thought to ourselves, we've actually got no control over what we do. There's 4 reactors there. We've got no clue.
Yeah.
Every operator does his own thing based on experience. Okay. This guy has been here 20 years. He takes 2 minutes to do something. The other guy's been there 2 years, and he does it completely differently.
Yeah.
So it started off with an incident.
So it was a safety incident that prompted you to look at your processes, systems.
Actually, we started off and we said, okay, we need to be able to monitor the levels within the reactor and give us an early warning. And then Francois came back in the morning and he slept over something and he said, maybe we can go further, honestly. And that's where it started.
Look at technology.
Look at just getting our processes closer. We only do, it's a long process. There's 3 tons of material that you melt down and so forth. But the main thing that we do is to get our process closer together. Every guy does exactly the same thing at exactly the same time, and he waits exactly the same. Repeatable time, it's exactly that. And that's where it started. It was very, very hard-coded in the beginning.
Yes.
And I get very upset with him because, you are getting used to a material. There's 15 different materials going to and then he comes with 5 different other ones, and we've got to change things. But the system...
And the recipes are growing.
Yes, yeah. and it evolves constantly. And then I have to speak to Jacques and say, can you please program this? It's not bold this anymore. It's now called black and not white, or whatever the story is. But it's still ongoing. I mean, we're busy with other things now.
Yes.
So, and that part, we call it the flake reactors. The reactors and the flake part of it was the start. We implemented a very small beginning on the powder side. Francois is busy with something else, but he needs to fix a few things first before Francois can get a hold of him. But in any case, that's where we are.
Okay.
So interesting.
It was reducing operational risk, I suppose, and now and ultimately you realize you can get much better visibility. Control.
And the quality is improved. Okay. Everything is improved. I mean, we had a flake. If you think about that color,
yes,
on that piece of paper, it is now white.
Yeah,
and it's just because we streamlined the process. Everybody has got an idea. We started with high temperatures. We are 25 degrees lower than what we used to be because we don't need it.
Yeah,
and we never knew it previously. I've got no clue. I was in the pipe manufacturing industry. This is different. But the point of the matter of it, the whole thing was to not have every second or third or fourth batch off color or this or that.
Yes.
We haven't had a failure in the flake line for 2.5 years now.
It's product consistency and quality.
Quality is, I think it improved 100% sometimes.
I think we've always been in control. We just didn't have all the data to back that up. It's easy to say everything passes, but if something goes wrong, you didn't know where or how.
Yeah.
Now at least we know exactly where we can go back to, and we can have a look. Yeah.
Fantastic. And Jacques, you guys got involved. You turned off the plant for 3 weeks while you could implement everything. That's always the first challenge is disrupting active production and downtime. So that's probably when you started developing, that was the first challenge that you had.
Yeah, so the big thing, I mean, everything was well planned. Renier is definitely very set in his ways, and he makes sure that, listen, we're going to make sure that there's only this time available. We're going to do everything's well scheduled. So just to take it back to the beginning, it's like I said, it was that beginning that they just wanted to see the level. So it's identifying the right instrument
Yes.
and then taking it further. Yes, but now
For something that's essentially very hard code.
that's essentially it was just for safety.
Hmm.
And then they started to realize, listen, but while we're adding our additives through the process, it's interesting to see what the levels now actually do that they didn't usually have.
Okay.
And I think the big thing eventually when we started, it was also, yes, we wanted these recipes, this is how we wanted to work. And then, but we're seeing the level now.
Yeah.
Let's take a step back, get somebody in an industrial engineer to actually go through the process and see. This is what
It was an opportunity.
Yes, definitely. And I mean, it's like Francois said, you don't know what you don't know. And as soon as you start to know something, then it sparks and next idea. And
I mean, what he says is we had like 4 recipes.
yeah,
4. Now we've got 4 recipes with 17, 18, 19 different recipes inside that product formulation. So it's changed.
and the big thing, what is nice is the same as this was, I'm going to say, learning and a growing experience for them in their specific product. It was also a learning and a growing experience for us to push our limits and to adapt to what they need the whole time. And I think that's also testament to the product that we used and how everything can grow, the modularity. So yeah, from there on, like you said, then we identified, yes, let's automate the reactors, let's automate that type of process.
So that was the start. That was March 2023.
Yes,
the reactor
that was the big start. And it's not automation in the sense that everything is added automatically, but it's prompting an operator when to do what.
Okay.
So it's that interaction with them, but still
almost a standard operating procedure.
Yes, capturing that data. And like René said, yes, then it evolved that, listen, we don't want these 4 standard recipes anymore. Let's make the system more dynamic.
We want batch.
Yes. And so, I mean, it started just with a gateway, and I think it was 2 or 3 perspective licenses. Then it was, no, but we want now history. So we added the history. Then, yes, we wanted reporting. I mean, even their report, it was a very particular type of report that they wanted.
Okay. Is that a compliance report, production report?
That's just for us.
That was just initially for production. And yeah, that grew. From there on, it was closing the loop. Then they wanted the recipe management system. So it was going back to the PLC, making it more generic, but letting them rather have the databases from.
And we'll go through it in a moment. We've got some screens and slides, and there's a couple of recipes there.
So I'm running a little bit.
No. But I mean, it's quite extensive.
The main thing that you must also remember is that Jacques when we planned this whole thing, we said, okay, let's just, because it was all manual.
Yes.
Okay, there's one thing that I told him: we need to be able to make it manual
if you need to.
If I need to. That's one thing. It cannot stop. But for instance, you work with steam pressure, and you've got to try and control a certain temperature. So in the past, the guys, if he thinks it's going up too high, he closes the valve manually.
Yeah.
And then he opens the valve when he thinks, oh shit, sorry for the word, but my temperature has gone down too much and now I've got to open it up. So we added a specific hardware component within that, and he needed to speak to it. So now it's all, I don't do it anymore. The system does it for us.
And you don't have to rely on guessing.
Yeah, exactly that. And we can change it within our recipes. We can say whatever we need and whatever we want to. So it's amazing.
And Jacques, for the batch control and the recipe management, did you take the easy route and get the batch module with the engine, or did you take the other the value for money challenging route and build everything yourself?
Like
now you need to answer properly.
Yeah, the guys, they really challenge you. So you have to build custom systems.
Yes.
That fits exactly to what they need.
Yeah. No, I'm teasing. I did see that. It's a very, very specific, the requirements are very specific. And there was a lot of scripting, I would imagine, in the back end as well.
Yes.
A lot of database interaction.
Okay. Yeah, Debian scripting. It's in that course. You definitely need it.
So you got value for money.
Yes.
So that was a data-driven recipe management system for the flake line. Obviously, the GUI was added. There were some PLC logic enhancements. That's quite a lot of work. And then in June 2025, you replaced the manual batch capturing process with a fully integrated solution.
Yeah, so it was, apart from the flake line, they also wanted to do their CZ line.
Okay.
And then, yeah, Francois wanted to close the loop then to basically automate it so that the lab, that they can also input the results on the specific batches itself.
Absolutely. Why not?
As well as
You may as well.
create their certificate of approval for the whole process.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's such technical products. If something goes wrong in a year's time at a customer, we would like to trace back to the
Yes.
QC in the lab, back to the factory, back to when the operator started.
Have the
and
data available to
yeah,
show.
push play for the process to start. And how nice is it to see everything? And you can go back and say, okay, well, maybe something went wrong here, maybe something went wrong there.
And you can actually go back to the individual raw materials.
Yeah, absolutely. All the way to source.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's
Back to his purchase order.
Yeah.
Who he
Yeah.
Where I bought
spoke to, is the
Who's the-
email attached to it.
Use the throat to yeah. So that certificate is obviously crucial.
Yes.
So within the ISO system, you need to be able to trace your materials back to the source.
Yeah.
And this is easy actually, because you just press a little button, it's all there.
Yeah. Okay. It's easy now.
Well, I think
It was easy for us. We said we wanted
Yeah.
did it.
I think we had a manual system previously.
Yes.
The main thing is you had to go back 4 years and go through
Yes.
papers and whatever and try and
Follow
find
the
out
paper trail.
Correct. Now, I mean, it's in a database. You can find, if you know what day and you know what batch number, you can get anything.
Fantastic. So I mean,
The big thing I just want to add is they are empowered to do whatever they need to do. That's a big thing. They're in control of their system and
yes.
they
Yeah.
can use it as they like. Yeah.
We've been following with the slides, but we've got a couple of results on here, and I think everything we've discussed. So if the recipe changes, you can now create, approve, manage those recipes independently. You spoke, Renier, about the waste. There was a reduction of waste, lower temperatures for certain processes. There must be some, maybe not proven yet, but maybe there's got to be some utility, some energy savings there. That'll be nice to quantify at some point. Product quality, you mentioned, the full historical data we've just spoken about. And then, of course, the linking the production data with the lab results for your certificate of approval.
Well, let's just come back to energy savings.
Yes.
We used to run 2 boilers constantly.
Yeah.
Now we've got to switch one off because we use one.
Yeah, we don't use the other one anymore.
Fantastic.
We
It's just
split
the
it.
efficiency and the
Yeah, so it's very difficult to put that into money
yes.
values, but
Yeah.
I can see it.
Yeah.
The maintenance on the stuff has gone down. People don't come out anymore to fix problems.
Yeah.
So that's a major improvement.
Amazing. So despite what everybody else says, Jock and the team did an okay job.
We do fight still a little bit.
Well, I suspect it's not going to be the last. There's always something. So you would have seen that our little logo and why we call this webinar the what's next, building what's next, is once you have something in place and you can understand how you could deploy a piece of technology to give you visibility and things like that, then there's always a what's next. What do we want to do next? And you come up with another idea or another metric that you want to track or another, and that's the ability that you have to build whatever is next. You can build it.
I think the main thing is what I said to Francois. We've got the next already he's already been trying to quote me on the next. But then I said, yeah, but I think Francois, it's going to be difficult. He says, the system guy, just let it be Jock's problem.
Yeah. Cool. And this is a very simplistic view, I imagine, of the architecture.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jock, you want to maybe talk us through what we're looking at?
Yeah, so you can see the PLC integration with Modbus to the ignition gateway. What they've got there now is, like I said, it's the ignition gateway, reporting, historian.
So that's all Modbus comms.
Yes, the integration with the PLC. Okay. Yes, it's Modbus comms. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like I said, the historian reporting, and they've also now gone to the unlimited license on their perspective, because they saw the need for that, especially, I mean, you've got it's the CZ line, then the two flakes, apart from all the guys in the labs, and them watching it from the office or wherever they are. Yeah.
Well, the great thing about the unlimited clients is you want to throw something on a screen somewhere, some KPI, you can do it. You're not limited in any way by who you give access to, obviously the appropriate and secure information, but you can easily share that.
And then, on the historian side, the SQLite is still more than efficient for what they're capturing from the process itself.
Okay.
But then the batch management system just runs on a separate database.
Yeah, that's a bit more hairy.
Yeah,
that's a bit more heavy.
As well as, the interaction with it is,
okay.
It needs a lot more traffic.
Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Fairly simple architecture.
Yes.
Okay. So we've got a couple of screens here. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I can show you that.
Say Sundays.
A nice entry screen, just for Sundays, and then
It shows our 4 reactors. And
CZ line in the
reporting section.
Yeah, so that's just the first page.
And we started now only learning. There's a little thing here that looks like a
trend, a little lightning.
That's the quote I'm waiting for now.
Okay, all right. So you added that to tease.
So you'll see that being fairly new to the system, the adoption was, there wasn't an adoption process for, we're used to conventional types of SCADA. So we initially went for the ASM SCADA for them as well.
Yeah.
Because, there's a lot of, like we spoke in the past,
there's one thing
that's the way that the industry goes, and there's definitely a lot of benefits to it.
He's going to get a shock very soon. Is one thing that he's going to say, because you've got a product and you've got different materials within that product, and Francois always comes with different products that needs to be. I need 4 or 5 suppliers and whatever the story is. Now you've put that in a recipe, and you have, what do you say there? Some oxide liquid, and that oxide liquid becomes something else now. Now I've got to redo that whole recipe. So I want eventually copy and a paste and change one thing. That's also coming.
Yeah.
What's next? You see,
the complexity of it is not going to stop. So
no, he's got a problem. He needs to just solve it.
But that's what's so great about when you're starting out with the system. You can always look at it and say, I want that.
Yes.
And it's somebody else's problem to build it for you.
Yeah. So ASM, if you're not familiar with the term ASM, it's one of those TLAs that we throw around in our industry, 3-letter acronym. So ASM is abnormal situation management. There's actually a ISA 101, I think, also speaks to
high performance skaters.
High performance skaters. ASM is definitely, a lot of people call it grayscale, 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes. Yeah.
It really is, just from a visibility point of view, it makes it a lot easier for not only an operator, but anybody to recognize that something needs attention or something is wrong.
So even apart from that, you can also see that you've also got the 50 Shades of Grey type thing here. And even if it's not needed for a recipe management type system and reporting, they already like the theme and they said, this looks clean. They want to keep with this.
Yeah.
So that's actually the.
You know what the worst thing is now? You change something on a Wednesday. For instance, there's not a product or a new product, and you make a new bill of material. And then Monday morning, the guy comes from the factory and says, I can't do anything. So what is your problem? He says, there's no bomb in the system. Or the lab comes back and says, I can't do my quality. He says, why? Because there's no bomb in the system. So that's amazing. So it keeps everybody on their toes as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And this is quite an extensive list, and this is all database interactions story.
Yeah, so that's of course, yeah, just a made up list, not to
Yes.
give any of their products
Of
anything
course.
away.
Of
Yeah.
course, yeah.
Well, I don't know. I think you guys have loop tune extracts and some data key crystals, but
not in our samples.
Okay.
I didn't even read the details.
I think Jock had a lot of fun creating this stuff.
Yes, yeah, very nice. Did you ask Rock for a couple of suggested names for imaginary? That's really cool.
Yeah, so it's just you've got a main view for recipe management, and then we use the side panes and so on for maintaining the supplementary or the ad hoc type tables for them to go and add products, go and add their bombs.
You know, the nice thing about it is I don't have to actually type in anything. I can copy and paste, which is amazing.
Absolutely. And do you, in terms of security, Jack, do you have any, in terms of who can add, edit, view only? Are there any different security levels?
Yes, there's definitely specific security levels to. It's only Renier that has access to the recipe management, and then of course the lab guys that they've got access to their portion of it.
Okay.
And then of course the operators to their portion.
And the lab, that's essentially data entry that they're doing that feeds back into the system.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Very nice.
And then of course, even on those views, there's some quality of life type things. When they insert their steps, you always make sure that a recipe, the steps are sequential. You only allow them to add a specific step. If you can't go from a step 6 to a step 8.
Correct.
All that types of checks and Ignition allows you to build that type of functionality.
Better workflow with those steps, yeah. And obviously there's a full audit log, what you alluded to earlier. There's not only the data, but there's a full audit log available as well. This, I think, Jack, is a video, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, that's a video.
It's a video, and then, but yeah, this is now for the lab guys, what they can see. They can actually go into the batches that has been produced on the CZs and the flake clients. And from here on, they can go and enter their results.
Add comments.
This is me entering results due to my very rigorous testing of that specific stabilized logic compound.
Did you apply any kind of guidelines around potential deviations on data? So in other words, if it could possibly only be between 1 and 10, did you provide any?
Yes.
You see the other problem
on those fields, you can only, can't remember, but it's only a specific amount of digits.
Okay.
That type of thing. Yeah.
You see that the product that he's got there that comes from the factory.
Yes.
So if the factory makes a mistake, this mistake goes all the way through.
Yes.
And they've got the means to change that in the lab if there's a mistake in the plant.
Yeah, as well as they can also do some manual entries if something happened that.
Yeah.
It's a nice way for them to listen. We need to do a specific type of analysis. Then they can go and capture a batch manually as well, add it to this list.
Because the lab also does trials or new products.
Yes. It was R&D
stuff.
Yeah.
So they need to be able to get
a certificate of approval.
And the COAs, there's also some checking. It's actually 2 different certificates. It picks up what type of what types of tests were done, like rigid versus flex, that type of thing. But as well as they only allow specific products to be grouped together. They can view up to how much ever they want to, if they send that type of batch over to a customer, like there's 50 batches of these or those. Yeah.
And these certificates of analysis, do they reside in a PDF format somewhere as well? Or do you kind of draw them from the system as you need them, or do you keep them?
Well, both.
Both.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they do pull it off. It's just sometimes easier for logistical staff to go into a database. They don't have access to necessarily pull it themselves. But what I wanted to add to this is not just that it helped us have a bit more control, it also helped our departments not necessarily not talking to each other, but prompting to do, hey, you have to do your job. So what would happen, for example...
What's next? Who needs to do what next?
Something would have been manufactured, but the lab would maybe not necessarily know it's there, or to go because you have to go and pull samples out so you can do your lab work. They would then maybe take 2-3 hours longer as they should do. But now they get a prompt saying there's something, go and get your samples, you need to work. And same when they're done with their testing, the logistical team will get a prompt saying the goods are approved or disapproved, move it either to the location to be sold or move it to a holding location because they've got problems. Now, previously, that would sometimes take a day, 2 days for someone to actually do something. Now they get prompted. So it just helps the whole flow easier for us to manage. And we can see where there may be a bottleneck, who's not, maybe the lab is overworked, they're too busy with R&D, they can't get to QC, maybe the logistics team need an extra member to start helping. It helps with personal planning as well.
So now you've got essentially, you've also now have a workflow, an operational workflow that you didn't have before. That's fantastic.
Yes, that's somewhat.
One of those unexpected benefits, which is great. Very nice.
Especially if you're in a position that you can sell everything you make.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, absolutely.
You don't wait for 3 hours for a batch, you actually get a batch started sooner.
So this is just a brief view of
Oh, there are some visuals. It's not database interaction.
the views that they have at the reactors itself.
It's very nice and clean. I like it.
And yeah, they've got a small overview of the reactor.
We've got machine state.
But they can also, on the carousel, they can move to the 3 variables that's more important for them while running a batch. But you'll also see that, yeah, they've got a batch configuration type system there that's linked to those tables so that you only have specific values that you can enter. You make sure that it's consistent throughout. And then on the right-hand side, you'll have your interface with the operator, prompting him when to do what and giving him a chance to get that feedback.
Accountability, sorry, just it's when we were in a manual process, you would say, but who was the guy here? That guy disappears. Now there's some accountability as well. You can actually see who's the operator, who's doing, because they log in, they confirm, yes, I have checked this, I have done this. So that really helped a lot as well on the accountability side. Sorry, Jacques, for jumping.
No. It's
Absolutely. That's
finance don't get to see these screens, so I love it.
Do you want to see them?
No, he doesn't.
yeah.
I've got other things to do. He's the finance.
Yeah, I think the validation around operator kind of additions approval, that validation is really, really nice to go back to see exactly who did what and who approved what. It's really simple stuff, but
yeah.
I mean, the ability to get that kind of insight is so nice.
But the big thing, just to come back again to what they said, it's, even though it looks so straightforward and so simple, the big effect that it had on their outcomes and how consistent their product is to the variability that they used to see.
Yeah.
You know what the nice thing about this is? This now runs off the recipes.
Yes,
fully. That's it, fully. So whatever if I say there's 10 seconds in my recipe, this is the 10 seconds. If I make that 500 seconds, it changes here. So the guy on the floor just checks whatever he needs to do with his next step.
Yeah,
that's very important.
Yeah.
There's no manual decision making.
Nothing.
And it back to repeatability. What did I do last time that this batch was so good?
Yeah.
Keep it for every batch going forward.
The big problem there is if there's a stuff up, guess where they look at? You put 2 seconds. So yeah.
Back to accountability.
Great.
You can identify it at least.
Yeah.
That SQL database, Doc, is that kind of what sort of metrics are we looking at for the SQL database? Is it growing? Is it becoming a bit hairy or in size or?
The SQLite, it's on the SQLite side or on the Microsoft SQL?
Microsoft SQL.
So it's one big entry per batch.
Okay, I see.
Yeah. So it's not growing that large.
Okay, all right.
We really tried to streamline the way that we designed all of the tables. We made sure that it's normalized. So
that's what I'm asking.
Everything ties in together with decent primary keys, that type of thing. Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, then it becomes a little bit unwieldy fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And then if you just go back to that video, just go more to the end of it. The one that showed the reactor now.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know if you can browse further on in the video. Or scroll.
Oh, hang on. I'm going to pause and then I'm going to press next. To play.
No,
There we go.
there we go.
Okay, but I don't know if you can just
Forward.
go, forward to the end of it.
Yes, I can.
Or close to the end of it.
Sort of.
Yeah, there. Okay, from run off complete. So it's just to show, if you go a little bit further on, you'll see the reports that it generates. Okay, yeah, it's fine. You can play from here. But so this was a requirement from them in the beginning that after a batch is finished, and that was nice, the functionality that we could also use in Ignition. It will automatically send out
The
email with the batch outcome.
Okay.
And
Automated email.
Yeah.
yes, automated email coming out, as well as then it provides a chance for the operators. You'll see there, if they took longer on a specific step, to provide some feedback, why, what happened.
So this essentially replaces your typical process logbook, where you kind of, very, very nice.
Next learnings for us, if they consistently take long on step 4, then we know, well, our parameters are maybe wrong, or what's the reason? Is it the new raw material? Is there some difficulty at their side with ergonomics, lifting up bags? What can we do to make that step quicker, faster, and yeah.
And it might be a difference on our side. It might be the guy comes back and say, listen, I had to go slower because the material feels like it's wetter, for instance.
At least you can add the commentary now.
Because we do rely on the operators to actually visually look at it. Because
sometimes feel it as well.
Yeah. So you do rely on them quite a lot to know what they're doing, but that then feed back into this, and we can then amend our processes.
The nice thing is they can concentrate on the more things that's more important, because to remember what I need to do next is gone. They concentrate at a specific point. I don't know if you've seen it. It might be in my presentation going forward. There's a level indicator and stuff like that. But we can get there if it's here. I think it might be here. But yeah.
And this operator input, or what does that look like? Is it a touch screen? Is it a
So it used to be this small.
Okay.
Now it's nice and big.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I mean, the operators generally are in person. They're the people that know best what's happening on the line. To get the
Based on their experience.
Yes.
Sure. So you will always have a guy that was there 20 years. He knows the best, and he's the most difficult to change.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But what is also nice about this system now, because due to the investigation into why each operator is doing what they're doing, you're getting some of that experience back into your system.
Absolutely.
Or if you have that employee turnover,
Makes your system smarter.
They can just now follow the prompts. You don't have to rely on that 100%, just that expertise.
What we did apart from the touchscreen is we added some visual lights as well, telling them it's simple, yellow, green, red.
Amazing.
Knowing, okay, this is the wait period because it's on green. You have to start doing something now. Red, obviously, there's a boilover. Just some visual stuff in there.
Visual aid is such a simple thing.
And it's very simple, but it really helps the guys a lot. Yeah.
Nice.
And I can look at the computer on the camera and say it's supposed to be green, and he's sitting there, and So that's also there. But it's amazing. This thing, it works.
Yeah, the operator input, once you've digitized that, is that the right word? Digitize or digitalize? Digitized. Because very often that would exist in a paper trail somewhere. There would be a logbook, people would make some comments, and you have per shift for a couple of days, you have a couple of these logbooks, and you leave them in a corner somewhere, and all of that knowledge and learnings that you can get from the operator stuff is never entered or used.
We saw that at that chocolate place.
Yes.
They had millions of books.
Yeah.
And you kind of look at this and say, how do you correlate all of this? We don't.
Yeah, you remember there was a problem like this before. Where can I remember?
So it's really valuable.
About a third way through this sucker, look there.
December 2023. Nothing.
December the 43rd.
It's going to be a video as well, I think. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is just basically some entries into the tables and so on.
Okay.
It's just some interaction.
I don't have any more slides, so I'm not sure if there were some others.
Where's our slides that we put through to you?
There was another slide on what you guys.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
we sent through.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think we mentioned all of
Yeah,
that.
I think
It's not
that's-
that, yeah, no,
No, it's not
that
that
was just
crazy.
from our perspective.
From a visual
Yeah, yeah.
point of view.
Yeah.
So I don't think we've missed anything
No,
major.
it would nice to, it's a pictures. It's pictures of how it actually physically looks on the floor. But
If there's nothing proprietary there that could harm your business, would you be okay with maybe sharing that picture? And we can,
we can have a look and see if you've got it there.
otherwise, we can also share it after. It's probably going to be difficult to find it now, though. I
Yeah.
put it somewhere.
Yeah,
Right.
So we can
doesn't
share it
matter.
afterwards.
Yeah.
We can maybe do
We'll put it in.
a picture there.
a kind of a version that would be
Because it's always nice to actually see it.
yes, to visualize what it
Yeah,
looks like.
because the
Yeah.
guy says, "Oh, okay, what
The
is-"
product itself and how.
No, the actual
Acceleration.
freaking. There's a thing.
The
Because a
installation,
factory in here it's different. I mean, you see a
Yeah.
recipe here and it's not the same.
Yeah.
But I think the interesting things that I've just picked up in this is that there were a lot of unexpected gains out of the project. You set out to do one thing, but there were so many other benefits and things that came out of it. Which
I think we've said it, and it's again, you don't know what you don't know until you start looking at the data.
But you kind of start out with the vision to say, I want to do this one thing. And whilst you're doing that one thing, you realize, oh, but hold on a second, we can add this and add this and add this. And it's not much more effort, but the benefits are huge.
I think if you when we sat down the first time around, we said, okay, what do you actually want at the end? And what we have now is 500 times bigger than what we discussed in the beginning. And you can't think that far ahead. I'm sorry, it's not a 1 year process. Like Franco said.
Yeah.
It will evolve and it will evolve and it will evolve constantly, and that's a nice thing.
So nice to hear.
Yeah.
You can also see
What's next?
That makes
Yeah.
your
What's
happy as well.
next?
You can also see the requirements that come from the clients. It's a lot more directed at a specific thing than what it was in the beginning, because I think they've seen what is possible and what they really want now. You can definitely see the way that we approach everything, the way that we discuss.
And once the fundamentals are ticked off, when I say the fundamentals, I'm referring to the compliance aspects, the safety aspects, the visibility, the validation, the lab. Once all of those fundamentals are ticked off, then you start thinking about, okay, what's next? Maybe a mobile view would be nice. Get the app on your phone. Maybe look at something. Start thinking about broader utilities and energy usage in the facility. Somebody in not necessarily finance, but usually finance, they get to see a screen and they go, I would like a view of that somewhere. And you can do that now once you have the data.
But it's also the consolidation of different systems into one system, because it's now possible to have one version of the truth and one place to manage everything, even though traditionally that would have been three different systems.
Yes,
the automation,
the rest is three different systems.
I mean, we had the whole thing that we actually did a trial on one of our batches, and you get a guy that's been there forever. Says, it's not the same.
Yeah.
Okay. And you can physically see it's not the same. Everything just takes way longer. Although the process is the same, the product is not the same. Okay. And then the big boss also, but what's not? And that's very difficult to explain. And actually, strangely enough, when I started for this new thing, I took by accident our trial with a standard product, and you can see the difference. There's a huge difference in the process. Actually, it's weird, but now you can tell the guys, okay, the guys was wrong right on the floor, because they say it's not the same. to see it there minute by minute, it doesn't make sense that it's not the same.
Yeah.
But afterwards, it does make sense.
Yeah.
You put the two on top of each other.
Yes. Yeah. Amazing. That's so nice to hear that there was vision. Well, it wasn't necessarily a vision. There was a requirement initially around safety, and that evolved into something which is now serving you really well. That's amazing to hear. Well done. I'm sure you obviously had to open the checkbook. That's always the
Especially with Concera, it's a big checkbook.
So I think systems traditionally in our company is very old school, very old driven, traditional books, and then maybe the younger, if I call it that generation, would see that there's so much more benefits in having systems in place for so many other things. So it's easy. It's actually an easy sell. Once the results come out, you can actually see it was worth every cent.
But the technology is just an enabler, though.
Yes,
but it's if you have the vision, you do it properly. It's an incredible enabler of people and all the benefits that you've spoken about. So it's a big step to do that, and you're not alone. Most run like that.
The nice thing about this whole thing is our sister companies is starting to look at. Maybe that's a good idea.
Yeah. If they want a view, maybe just give them a view, and then it'll be nice to understand some kind of a standardization across multiple, because then you can start comparing apples with apples. Once you have standard sets of reports and things, then across different facilities, you can start do comparisons.
Yeah, I mean, if you can see consistency in another process throughout the batches, what are you guys doing different?
Yeah.
Because you've got something to compare with now.
Amazing. Well done. We will, if it's okay, we will get the other view and share it. So it's not available to steal, if that makes sense. But I think it would be nice to also get that visual view, give people the visual view. We can share that after.
Have we got any questions?
Yeah, we've got 2 minutes left.
Yeah, no questions.
No questions. So it's been a monologue from the 6 o'clock.
It's an easy one.
Yeah.
And nobody wants a free gift. That's interesting.
Nobody needs socks.
I always say there's no such thing as a silly or a stupid question, but sometimes we get a silly question just because people know the first question gets a gift. Well, if there are no
There's a
questions.
question.
Oh, okay, fantastic. So a comment or a question?
Let's see. If you could quantify, what would you say the ROI has been on the business as a whole? By the sound of it, the operators are most efficient because of the system, as well as the system being more consistent.
So there's an operator benefit, but in terms of ROI, if you could have a guesstimate, percentage, if you don't want to talk numbers, percentage, is that possible?
Well, it is a very difficult thing. When you have failed batches in our industry, you can actually work it away easily. We can always rework our batches. But with having less of that to do, obviously your productivity goes up because you don't have to rework any old stock at all to get into your business. And we could visibly see that we don't have a lot of failed batches that we now need to rework because of the system. To put it in a rand value, it is very difficult. We are still working on it. I think eventually we will have an answer, but as we're still evolving, still getting data, still looking at it.
Okay.
There is no rand value.
Well, let me explain to you quickly something that we have seen is a manual process that we had in the beginning. To do 2 batches a day took 12 hours.
Yes.
Sometimes more. Now, if they start at 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, the first batch is done.
Wow.
Okay, so we also saw that last year when we had huge orders for products that we nearly doubled our output, which I think might not be 100% because you can double your output.
Yeah, there's some margin of
of course, but it is easier to do 4 batches than it used to be to do 4 batches.
Make it more with what you've got rather than have to invest in new.
Well, from the get-go, we said this project is not to have a return on investment necessarily. It was obviously for safety first.
Yes.
But then the other benefits came around. So those benefits, I think, outweigh anything else that we can do.
No, I mean, the question was also asked, how long does it take to run off? Okay. Now you can see it. It is constantly exactly the same. And then they say, but how do you do that? How can it be that quick? It's because of the system. That's the fact.
Really good question, Stefan. Thank you for that. I always like when people try to understand the return on something. The great thing about these, the software portion of it is the licenses are obviously perpetual. So you have the system in place.
Sorry, maybe what I can add is because we replaced some of our systems, there was a saving for us in terms of software because we had a QC system running for the lab that we now, that's now been replaced with the full suite of what we're doing now. So there's savings in terms of some of our software licenses, definitely.
Amazing.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
It's nice to hear, sorry, I just want to add, if you're talking about less runtime on your boilers, less maintenance, constant products, less waste, being able to run more batches, and then as well as saving third-party type costs.
There's got to be a clever finance guy somewhere that can start, maybe spend a day one day and run a couple of numbers.
I'm trying to give it out, then John will mistake onwards.
But I'm saying that so. I think it's another question from John.
Got 2 more questions. The first question from Jean van Zyl. Do you manage the life cycle of your plant through the system?
So that would be in terms of acid life cycle, I would imagine, Jean. So no. You could probably start doing that in terms of hours run. You could start doing things like
I think you can do that.
Maintenance.
It all depends on. We don't just make. After COVID, people don't just keep stock. Okay, so there's also safety stock forecasts and stuff like that. So if the plant needs to run, it runs. If it needs to run 24 hours, 7 days a week, that's what we do. If it doesn't, we switch it off. So it's very dynamic. And the nice thing is you can switch it on after, let's call it a week, and have exactly the same that we had a week ago.
Okay.
The same product, the same quality, the same thing. So it's the consistency of that that's more important. Yeah.
Okay, so you could probably, if you're tracking the kind of the production times, the run times, the machine state times, you could probably start tracking things like acid life cycle. Yeah, might be a nice next thing to do. Great question, John. And Stefan, sorry, you did ask the first question, so we will definitely send you 50 rand in your max spar.
And so
I'm just distracting because I can't remember the name. Gift box. We'll definitely do a nice. We've got some new T-shirts and some new socks. Stefan, thank you for the question. We'll send you something. And the one you mentioned, and John, thank you for your question. You mentioned there was another one.
Yeah, last question from Anonymous. Why did you decide to use Jock and his team when this project started?
So in the selection of Concera and Jock as the
so that was Abstance really through people in the industry asking, do you know someone that could do this? And Jock were the first that came up.
Okay.
And we didn't really after that start looking anywhere else. I think we clicked immediately. They understood what we were trying to say. So it wasn't like a Google search. It was word of mouth.
Okay, that's good.
And we just click as a team immediately. So we could have gone out in the market and try and run around, but I think once you've got a comfortable feeling with someone that understands and talks the same sort of principles and what you want to do, you stay with that.
Same values as well. We found.
I think on my side is because he had experience in our industry.
Yes,
although it's mining, it's still. It makes a difference. A guy that was in a finance put something together as a finance team, for instance, and not know about the factory. He knows what a factory does look like and what the issues is, and learning out of his mistakes previously.
That's the value you get.
Correct.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's word of mouth referral is always the best.
Yeah.
It's most authentic. So well done, John. Francois and Eve, thank you so much for your time. I don't think we have any more questions.
No more questions. No, that's it.
All of them really good questions. Thank you to everybody online for joining us. Thank you, gentlemen, for being here.
Thank you.
And talking,
Thank you very much.
talking so passionately, but also candidly and openly about the journey that you've been through. It looks like there's lots more to come over the next little while. We can only wish that your facility is healthy, flourishing, producing, and adding to our economy. So thank you for that. Last line from us, as we leave you today, do not forget that you get free training. If you have a canary license, an ignition license, training for us is not a revenue stream. We want to make sure that people are enabled and trained. We run training every second week at the moment. So if you're interested in training, please start with Inductive University or Canary Academy. But if you want to take it a step further, join us virtually online every second week, or here in the office if you have a team of people that you potentially want to bring for training. But there is a little link there to check out our training schedule for the rest of the year. And that's it. I think we're 6 minutes over time. It's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad.
We've been 20 minutes over in the past. So, so that was pretty good. And I think there are no more questions as well.
Yeah, no more questions.
Cool, guys. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Everyone, thank you. Enjoy the rest of your weekend.
Awesome.
Awesome. Thanks.